very good. Trubisky stinks.
Trubis-
I just
he looked like Joe Montana against the Lions. So there's that.
that's true. He's had a couple good games. I just don't think he's a very good quarterback. Not from us. Not been too impressed, but
So
oh
it has a recap for everyone that got to watch the intro without sound, got to watch us start talking without sound. I upgraded my computer to Mojave, and apparently you have to close programs after you give them permission to use microphones and video for it to take effect. So I closed it, reopened it, and here we are with sound. So sorry about that. This is what happens when you upgrade things. It's not really an upgrade in some cases, but we're good now. We're cooking with gas, as they say. So no one on the audio podcast would have known had I not said something.
that's true. And nobody in the live stream probably got to hear me rant.
They didn't. So if you want to hear Wink rant about the Packers, go ahead and check out the audio podcast.
Anyway, so there's been crazy stuff going on out in California. Like freaking fires everywhere. I know there's a lot of people listening to our show that live out there, so hope all of you guys are staying safe, as well as all of our friends over at Capital Games. Hope you guys are staying safe and finding good breathable air, because man, the videos and stuff are crazy.
Did you see the satellite image of that area?
Yeah.
It's just a giant smoke cloud. It's crazy.
Yeah,
so,
it's crazy.
Stay safe, everyone. I know from here in Arizona, those wildfires get out of hand. So.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to have to explain this next one to me, because I tried to find it and I couldn't. So I'm really interested in this. It sounds like an awesome feature. Tell us about it.
All right. So whenever you're listening to the podcast, as you probably are now, unless you're in the live stream, one thing that is pretty cool that I didn't know that iOS 12 introduced this until here recently, and I was like, hey, I got to check into it. When you go to the show notes, I always put the timestamps in your show notes, so you can always go and see those. Well, they now have like little chapter markers, which is super cool. So if you go to your podcast app, say, I use Apple Podcasts. So let's say I go to that. Episode 123 was the first one that actually had this. So whenever you go to that and you kind of scroll down to your episode notes and you go a little bit further, you'll see chapters. And those are basically like chapter markers on a Blu-ray or something that you can skip to. And all of our segment breakdowns, I have put all those in as chapters, and I'm going to be doing that on all podcasts going forward. So if there's something you want to go back to that you missed or whatever, you can just click that and quickly get there, rather than, finding the correct time in the show notes and then having to skimmer your way through and get to that spot and all that sort of stuff. So I thought that was a really cool feature. I didn't know it had it. I'm excited to see it. Hopefully it makes finding stuff a little bit easier if people want to go back and re-listen to stuff.
Agreed. I am looking forward to it because it is very helpful. I need to go back and listen to trivia a few times and get back on my winning tracks. Because it was like me winning in a big chunk, and now it's you winning in a big chunk. And I don't like this.
I think the last time that you actually won a week at trivia was around the time that the Packers were over 500. So it's been a really long time.
Say that again.
No, I'm not saying it again. Felt really gross.
All right.
All right, you ready to jump to this first topic?
Always.
Hey guys, what did you do in SWGOH this week?
Alrighty. So this wasn't exactly a super exciting week for me, but that's okay. Um, let's see. Basically, I did two things. I started working on Bosk because I need his ship to be better because, it's kind of tough sledding in Ship Arena without him. And mine's only gear 8, so I've been working on that. And then, let's see. Oh, Greedo. I've been working on Greedo. So I think we talked about this last week. Elon and I have been in competition for our Phase 3 checks team, the Boba Lead, Greedo, Pow, Death Trooper with Chewbacca. And I was, this past week, I was able to get both of the pieces, or the rest of the stuff I need for both pieces of Gear 12 Plus on Greedo to add to him.
Mm-hmm.
One that added plus 100 defense penetration and a lot of offense and sort of stuff. So I decided to yawn before I told you about the rest of this, but I remodded the whole team. Been not gearing up, but slicing up mods with offense and trying to maximize that team as much as possible. And I was just testing it. And I've got the team to where it's averaging about 210,000 per hit. I've seen hits actually up to 225,000. That was my best I got a little bit earlier this evening. It is super, super awesome. I can't wait to see what kind of run I can get with it tomorrow. I was getting over 10% super easy. I mean, most times getting to that number. So I'm curious to see if maybe I'd hit 20% or maybe even get a little bit higher than that. But yeah,
tomorrow,
I'm pretty stoked about that team.
We shall see tomorrow.
Indeed. Hopefully I'm off work so I can, test it by that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, super cool. And something else I did was I actually recorded some footage of my process of like going through and slicing up a bunch of mods and stuff, and I'm going to turn that into a video. And also over the Thanksgiving weekend, I'm going to try to get together a video about Revan and Grandmaster Yoda, because I was on with our friends over at Operation Metaverse this week, and that was something else we were talking about was, the offense primaries and going heavy offense on Grandmaster Yoda. And, I've had a lot of people message me this week that were like, hey, wow, that was, super awesome. So I think I'm going to make a video about it, just kind of share the information a bit more. But yeah, so that'll be fun. But that is pretty much it. What about for you?
Well, something that I think you talked about maybe 10 episodes ago. More? I don't know. I 7-starred my Treya this week after probably 20 different raids that I had to put zeros on. So it made it a little slow, but I did 7-star my Treya this week, so that long slog is over, and I'm pretty stoked to start trying her in different things, different raids and different such. I actually used her in the heroic AAT, and this is a fun story. You probably don't know this happened, but I used her in the heroic AAT in phase 1, got a pretty decent score. Then I used RJT minus BB-8 plus Finn in phase 2, and I think I got like 4 or 5 million, something like that. I think I got 2 million in phase 1, 5 million in phase 2, and then I soloed all of phase 3 and 4, and I finished the raid, and I was in first place by well over 10 million, I think. So I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna get the Tank Tamer title finally. This is looking good for me. And then I checked another 5 minutes later, and you had beat me by 2 million. And I got sick.
Wow.
It's like, no.
Yeah, I did not know that. That's kind of funny.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so
I'm kind of glad you mentioned that because that was something else. I was testing my Jedi in the Heroic AAT raid, and I went in with my, let's see, it was Revan, Grandmaster Yoda, Ezra, Bastilla Shan, and Hermit Yoda. And I was able to clear phases 1 and 2. Things got a little dicey in phase 2, but I was able to make it through. I made, I think it was 1 turn through in Rage, but I managed to keep everyone alive. But then I got to phase 3, and I cleared about 60% of it. I wasn't able to go anymore. That team just doesn't have enough turn meter reduction. So,
what was the team again?
Revan lead, Grandmaster Yoda, Hermit Yoda, Bastilla Shan, and Ezra.
Gotcha. Interesting. I wonder how. Well, I guess it would still be in Rage. I was gonna say if Jolie had brought everyone back, how much further you could have got, but they would have still. He still would have started one-shotting people. So, never mind. That's pretty cool. Let's see another one. Another 7-star. Night Sister Spirit. I finished her through the event. I never farmed her in Cantina once.
That's the way to do it.
Did it all the way through the event. Finished her to 7 stars this week. So there's a 16 energy Cantina node that I never had to touch, thank goodness. So that was good. And it took me 3 days to get 30 yellow med packs without farming for them to show up in the store. But I finally got him, and I gear 12 Jolie Bindo today and threw a Zeta on him. So I modded him up, and once I finished my climb with Chewbacca on my last battle, I threw in Jolie. So I'm kind of curious to see tomorrow if he makes my defense any better going into where I go tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes, considering there's a nice little fun thing in the game now that kind of trivializes that a little bit. But, yeah, we'll get to that.
Cool.
I also discovered I have some store farms left. Who knew? I have not been farming characters in stores for months and months. And I found out that Kit Fisto is apparently in the guild store. So I think he's halfway to 6 stars. So I'm going to have to start looking for him now because I can't have that. Just can't let that happen. And then
yeah, that's disappointing.
On top of that, I also remembered that Hoth Rebel Soldier and ISC are in the guild event store. So Hoth Rebel Soldier's still 5 stars because there was no way I was ever going to farm him from hard nodes. Forget all that. You only need him 5-star for dark side or for light side territory battles, so I never went past that. But he's in there, and then ISC's like 50 out of 100, so I might as well finish him off too, especially if I want to just gear him up for the Gauntlet Starfighter. So,
oh yeah,
yeah, pretty crazy. I didn't realize I had 3 characters still in the stores that I could farm, so I've been looking for those the past few days. But it was a pleasant surprise because I kind of there's something to farming characters in stores and then finishing them. It's the same as anywhere else, you know. You farm something, especially in like guild store, guild event store, where they're not for sure going to show up there every refresh. So it kind of takes a little longer on some of those characters. Farming them in there was awesome at the beginning because you had to pick one, then you had to spend a month farming them, and then you got to pick another one. It's the only thing that you get to pick now as far as farms go is which hard node you're going to do, pretty much. That or which Cantina node. And I like the way it was in the beginning of the game where you had all the stores to pick from. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
You had all the stores to pick from. You had all the, cantinas and hard nodes and all that stuff to pick from. So it made farming fun, but now farming is hard nodes and cantinas still fun to me, but there's less. One of the main things about the game, which is collections, is missing for me. So it's nice to find some farms to go back and go after, if all that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way with, let's see, like the guild store, for example. I know I still have, what is it, the Special Forces TIE Fighter pilot and his ship. I haven't finished those. I think there's one other character in that store I haven't finished. I just, I'd like to get back. I just haven't. I mean, the mod slicing material I like too much. Gear pieces I like too much, other than a character that I'm never going to use. I'd like to get finished, but it's not that high of a priority for me.
Makes sense. I always looked at this game as a collection game, right? So I want to collect everything. It's like Pokemon. Give me everything.
Yeah.
I want it all.
Understandable. I've kind of become a bit more that way the further I get in the game, but you know, it's you know, just kind of a more efficiency strategy type thing for me.
The saddest part is they need to put Aurora in a store somewhere, because that's pretty much the only way he's ever going to get farmed for me, because since he's hard node only, he's the only character I don't have unlocked that's not a new character. I don't even have him unlocked. Like, and I'm not farming hard nodes for Aurora. So that dude sits there all grayed out on my roster all the time, and it bugs the crap out of me. Like, I should have everyone unlocked, but this dude is sitting there staring at me in the face saying, you know, you could have me if you would spin hard node farm. And then I say, no, I'm sorry, bud. Which kind of sucks, because if Tuskens ever do get reworked like I want, I don't have one of them. So it's just...
That's a good point.
It's upsetting. But
I'm kind of curious if I have him finished yet, because I do not know. I literally have no idea. I feel like I probably do, but I'm not sure. And I'm in the middle of autoing something, so I can't exactly check at the moment. But
well, here's a question for you. I didn't do it when I first got Revan, because it took me a week and a half to gear him up. Did you? It didn't take you that long, but the mythic. It's not mythic, but the heroic tier of the Jedi mission. What is that assault battle? I can't remember the name of it. It's going on right now.
Oh. Yeah, that's what I'm autoing. I can tell you in a second. I've been able to beat... I mean, my Jedi have been good for a while. I've been able to beat the mythic tier for quite a while. But, I mean, hasn't always been easy. With Revit, I can auto it, so that's nice. But I was able to beat it for a while back whenever... who did I used to use? I don't even remember what leader I used to use. Ground War is what the assault battle is.
You want to hear something really stupid? It really annoys me. I tried to beat Mythic Ground War about 30 times with my Gear 12 Ewoks with Zetas and never beat it. And then finally I ran through it today with Revan on auto, and it just took the whole thing out. But Gear 12 Ewoks, just ready to go. Half the time couldn't get past... okay, this is auto. If I did it myself, I could get past the 4th tier. But if you tried to auto it, don't even get past the 4th tier. And even when I did it myself, I'd get to the last tier and get wiped. It was so annoying. So
I can imagine that would be frustrating. I think before I used to beat it with Qui-Gon Jinn lead.
Gotcha. You have his leader Zeta'd, right?
I do. I have 4 Zeta'd Jedi leader abilities.
And you use how many?
1.
Exactly.
Only 1. So many wasted Zetas that I would love to have back.
We were talking about that today. If you had to name one Zeta out of all of them, just pick one. Which one would you want back?
Phasma.
Oh, mine is definitely Hera still.
I figured.
Give me back that freaking Hera Zeta. I like.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so annoying that they have a button now that asks you, "Are you sure?" When back in the day it was like, click, click, click. No.
Yeah. Yeah, not good. Those were the dark times.
Yes, and to answer Joker's question in chat, were they wasted at the time though? Yes, because all I was trying to do was upgrade her abilities, and I clicked one too many times. I definitely was not going for that Zeta, and it really has made no difference on my Phoenix squad filled with Gear 10s and Gear 8s. So, yeah. What?
Yeah, understandable. Let's see. Oh, Joke. Yeah. Yeah, Joker was also wondering about the as far as mine being wasted at the time.
Oh,
for me, Phasma. Yeah, it was pretty much a waste the entire time. I don't even remember why I did it. It was just a stupid decision. All the other Jedi leader abilities, not so much, because Qui-Gon I used for a very long time. I used Revan, obviously. Grandmaster Yoda, I used it for a week for raids. Bastilla Shan was my arena team there for a little while. Really, Grandmaster Yoda is the one that I really haven't used much, but they're not bad.
Well, the funny thing is, Grandmasters was awesome, but he got reworked, and then Bastilla came out like 2 or 3 weeks later, and so people pretty much got 3 weeks out of his Zeta before throwing in Bastilla as the leader.
Yeah, that was the problem. He was pretty good there for a bit, though.
Yeah, I still think his is good, just not as good as the others. So,
agreed.
Yeah.
All right. You ready to move on to this next thing?
I am.
Since everyone loves a good poll, let's dance through the results and see what you thought this week.
Election results.
All
Very
right.
exciting stuff.
I got some nice imagery for the podcast, and apparently you've disappeared.
Have I? I'm still here. I promise.
Yeah, your video capture's gone? I don't know. Anyways, as you can see, the SWGOH government is set. You all voted on our candidates. I know a lot of you mentioned wanting to be able to fill in your own candidates. Well, unlike real elections where you have write-ins, I did not allow write-ins. So I did put in abstain. So if you just did not agree with our candidates, you could abstain from the vote. And a lot of people used it. So I'm sure that there are a lot of people who would have had write-ins. But the abstain was never a majority on any of these votes. So they wouldn't have won. So there's that.
All right. Well, I'm curious to see how many people, or what majority of people were wrong.
Well, all right. Well, do you have it pulled up there?
I do.
All right, good, because I'm trying to make your face show up.
All right.
Question 1.
The president, which is best leader ability overall in the game. Your options were Boba Fett, Captain Rex, or to abstain. So basically the abstaining field was 10% of the votes. There were 23% of people that picked the correct answer, which was Boba Fett. And then I was really disappointed that 67% of you got it wrong by choosing Captain Rex. Oh, he's in arena, yes, not overall in the game. Sorry, gotta disagree. Gotta disagree.
I don't know. I pretty much use them I could use them in anything. I use them in Sith Raid. I use them in Territory Wars. I use them in Arena. I even use him in the first 3 phases of light side territory battles if my platoons go wrong. So it happens. What? The President, Captain Rex. Now, for Vice President, and the only reason that this is going off of this is because the Vice President is there to assist the President, right? So the Vice President is listed as the best assist ability in the game. Your options given were Chewbacca, Bastilla Shan, and Rey Jedi training. And I would like to point out that I guess in the course of our talking on the podcast last week, Mist pointed out to me that he changed his assist ability to Revan. So I should have had Revan in there and not RJT, but it was RJT I put in there because that was in the notes. So sorry, Revan, you got screwed out of the vote. So we did it without you. You will not be taking over for the president if he passes. So
it won't be a recount.
There will not be a recount. Yeah, unless it's just a fill-in question for next week. But
fair enough.
But if you're watching the live stream, you'll see this image, and I'm going to post it in the podcast chat after this. But I just don't think that Revan would look as good standing menacingly behind the President Rex like he does in my image there. So
that's a really good point. And for all of those you in podcast land wondering how the results shook out, well, there was only 3 people who abstained from answering. 20% said Bastilla Shan with the best assist ability in the game. There was 23% of people that said RJT. However, there was a whole whopping 56% of people that said Chewbacca has the best assist ability in the game. So that was good. The electorate made me happy on this one.
That's good. Chewbacca, congratulations.
Yeah, he is pretty awesome.
So next up, you had the Secretary of the Treasury, also known as the best scoundrel in the game. If you don't get the connection there between Treasury and scoundrel, get with me after this and we'll talk about it. But the best scoundrel in the game, you were given 2 options, or you could abstain. The 2 options were Chewbacca again and Infus Nest. And I actually thought Chewbacca would win this one too, but holy smokes, he did not. So, yeah. With 73% of the vote, Infus Nest is now the Secretary of the Treasury. And then you have Chewbacca with 26%. And then you had another, how many is this? 4 votes abstained. So 4 people had other ideas for the Secretary of the Treasury. But other than that, Infus Nest with the win. I'm kind of not surprised. She is really good and people really love her.
Not better than Chewie. No,
the people have spoken. So there it is.
Yeah, I was disappointed with this one. And quite surprised. I mean,
it was a runaway, man. I wasn't surprised with the answers, but I was surprised that it was runaway. So Fistness took that one over.
So the House Majority, which is best faction in the game, there were, let's see, 2.5% of people that abstained. There was 37% who voted for the Rebels, and 61% of people said the Sith.
Another surprise for me.
A huge surprise. I did not see that coming. I mean, there's some good Sith in the game, sure, but man, those Rebels are just, I don't know. Like, they've always been so good. Kind of surprised that the tables have turned.
I'm surprised that the Sith won this, first off. And the second was, I'm kind of curious who the abstains would have voted for. Because
that's a good question. I mean, Jedi maybe with Revan. Maybe.
I mean, the Resistance are pretty decent, but there's not a ton of them.
Yeah.
You know? First Order's pretty good. You can get 2 teams out of both of those, so maybe it's one of them. I don't know. But I thought that was...
Yeah. Huh. I don't know.
Maybe it's Ewoks.
That's what it is. No doubt about it.
Maybe
for sure
it's
the Ewoks.
I don't.
Hey, Chicken Bottom brings up a really good point. Chewbacca can't be the vice president and the treasurer, so I feel better about everyone's voting. Well done.
So maybe they were thinking of that when they voted. Maybe Chewbacca really was meant to win, but through the electoral process, he wasn't allowed. We'll go with that.
That makes sense. Let's see. Attorney General, a.k.a. Best Attacker in the Game. There was 2.5% abstain. There was 5% that said Chewbacca. And, I mean, this is a total runaway.
Biggest runaway of the voting. Because holy smokes.
93% said Han Solo.
Han Solo. 93% best attacker in the game. I can't argue with it. He is really good. Either. So
he is. Yep. Just surprised that there's so much agreement. There was 211 people did our poll, and that sounded weird, but 211 people did our poll.
Somebody write down the time for that. We're gonna need that for a sounder later.
Yes. Yeah. No. No, bad idea.
I didn't say it for once. It was not me this time.
Yeah, no kidding.
Half these foot and mouth sounders are me. I'm glad that it's not this one.
Yeah, I've done a pretty good job at not doing that, surprisingly. Let's see. Surgeon General, best healer in the game.
This one surprised me.
This one has a pretty nice... It's dispersed nicely. So 3% abstain, and then there was, we'll start with third place, was Barasavi with 25%. Old Daka in second place with 35%. And then Jolie Bindo took the cake at 38%. It was all super close, but Jolie Bindo squeaked it out.
I just cannot see that dude as a elected official. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, he seems lazy to me.
Sounds like a politician.
He sounds lazy to me. You know, his first special just kind of, I'm not going to do this, and wave someone on else to do it, you know. I don't know if this is his spot, but they elected him, so he's going to be collecting that paycheck. True. But, yeah. Well, I just got him to Gear 12, so I'm really going to start using him more often now, so I can really see what people are talking about here. But this is one of those ones where they would probably go back and count the votes a second time just because it was actually close. Not like the rest of them, but this was the closest race here. Why wasn't Hoda in there? Hoda is not listed as a healer in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. That's why. He's a support.
Sadly. You can heal on basic and still not be a healer. I heavily argued for that, but
I mean, I don't know why he's not listed as a healer in the game, but he's not a healer in the game. And if you didn't know that, go double check and you'll see.
I would like to know what the parameters are to be a healer in the game, because you know, if your basic ability is a heal, it seems pretty obvious, but apparently not.
Another good point from chat is that Grandmaster Yoda is listed as a support, and he is one of the hardest hitting characters that I have on my roster. So,
yes,
there's also that.
Yeah, he hits like a freight train, man. He is so awesome.
Dude, he is super fun.
Yeah, I have so much fun with him in the raids. Well, in phase 2 with that Revan team, just watch him hit for like 150k is just awesome. So cool. All right, let's move on to Secretary of State, aka best support in the game. And let's see, we had Darth Nihilus come in at 7%, BB-8 at 11.5%, and good old Grand Admiral Thrawn at 81.5%. This one was another total landslide.
You know what's interesting about this one, though? Judging by the pie chart, at least, not one abstain and 211 votes.
That's true.
So, of our 3 candidates, no one disagreed that these were the top 3 for this. So, or maybe they did disagree they were top 3, but their number 1 was on the list. So, no abstains for the best support. And no Grandmaster Yoda.
We also have a really nice looking Pac-Man there.
Oh yeah, he's just gobbling up those ghosts.
Yep. But he's gobbling up Nihilus and BB-8. Well, of course he's gobbling up the dot. A little round thing. Makes sense. All right. Secretary of Defense, aka best tank in the game. This was the one that me, you, and Mist all voted for General Kenobi on, so he was the only option because he was the only nominee. And there was 7.7% of people that took the field, with 92.3% of people agreeing that General Kenobi is the best tank in the game.
Yeah, it's funny and interesting to me that a lot of people complained to me that there was only one tank option on this poll. But only 7% of people did not agree with the one we had on there. So, yes, there was only one because we all 3 picked General Kenobi, and that's why it was either Kenobi or someone else, and only 8% of people picked someone else. So, I'd say that's a pretty strong indication that General Kenobi is definitely still considered the top tank. So,
yeah, I totally agree. So just for giggles, what would be second and third for you? Do you have anyone that really sticks out?
Well, I had 2 that I put on as honorable mention last week on the podcast, and that was Crew and, for a time, Stormtrooper Han. So,
yeah,
because Han was good in a lot of things.
Yeah, he
still is if you use him correctly.
I would say that Shore Trooper would be mine.
I'd also throw in Scion. That was one that people were mad that they couldn't vote on. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of attacking tanks like listed in chat, JTR. So I guess there's some tanks in there. There's a lot of like weird ones like Hoda and Grandmaster Yoda and even JTR where they don't really fit the mold of the role they have, so they don't automatically come to mind when you think of these roles.
That's a good point.
But I probably would have still voted for Kenobi. So
Joker wanted to be old Ben. We need to give him a shout out because amazing.
Can I give a shout out to Gamguard? Is that okay? That's like me voting independent. Right?
Nope. No. Sorry, okay, no fine. Game card. Let's go to Secretary of Transportation, the best ship in the game. And the options were Umbaran Starfighter, TIE Advanced, and Sunfox Geonosian Fighter. Okay, so there were 10% of people that said abstain. I assume that those people abstained because of Houndstooth, which was really surprising that none of us picked Houndstooth. However, TIE Advanced took the cake with 77.7% of the votes.
Sevens across the board.
Sevens across the board, indeed. And then Sunfac had just under 5%. Umbaran Starfighter had 7.6%. So I was kind of glad that my candidate, a Barn Starfighter, beat out Sun Fog. That made me pretty happy.
I wasn't surprised that Vader's won. I'm kind of curious if Houndstooth was on there, if it would have been closer. But I mean, obviously
people think it would have been.
Yeah. Either people were just like, okay, well, Ty Advance is on there. I don't want him to lose. I'm not going to throw my vote to abstain. So,
yeah,
who knows?
That's totally fair. All right. Secretary of Energy, which is the best and most efficient farm for a character. And your options were Kylo Ren Unmasked and Ezra Bridger. There was a 4% abstaining vote. There was 22.3% that said Ezra and 74% that said Karu.
Very nice.
Not too
I think
surprising.
that was mine and yours vote there was Crew.
It was.
So
yeah, that ship character combo was tough to beat.
Yeah, especially for low energy consummation.
Indeed.
So he's a perfect candidate for Secretary of Energy.
Cool. Well, that wraps up the poll. Do you have anything else that stuck out to you about the poll?
No, it was just. I thought it was really cool. I really liked this idea of coming up with candidates and then having everyone vote on them the next week. That was pretty cool. So we'll have to find ways to implement this going forward and try to figure out some other cool ways to make those into poll questions. Kind of a my pick versus your pick thing. That would be fun.
Indeed. Yeah, I like it. Like it a lot.
Sweet.
All right, let's move on to...
Strong with us, this update is Young Padawans.
So I was just thinking earlier, and I'd like to point this out, that it is almost 1 year since my boy was introduced to this game, because I remember being on vacation at the beach for Thanksgiving and checking the forums when Darkside Territory battles were announced and Wampa was announced. And I remember everyone talking about it in Discord and just like being confused why a Wampa would become a playable character. And
yeah.
So it's almost been a year. I'm wondering what's going to happen this year during that anniversary, because it was pretty much announced like a day or two before the game's anniversary, and then they gave us all those awesome prizes. I think it was like they gave us crystals and some full pieces, a full Zeta, there were a couple other things that they gave us for that 1 year. So I'm looking forward to see what the 1 year anniversary of the game this year brings with it. But yeah, almost been a year. It's crazy.
Very nice. Hard to believe.
Yeah, well, it's kind of hard to believe that this podcast's been going on for
2.5.
2.5 years. So, and that we've already been on Twitch and just live streaming in general for over a year. So.
Oh wow! Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
very cool.
Exactly. Well, this update didn't have a ton, but we'll talk about the few things I see in it as we go. If you did not know, there are 2 new characters. If you don't know, you have on my time zone, you have 2.5 hours to finish your Fallen Bastilla Shan marquee event, because that is going on until midnight here. So Fallen Bastilla Shan is in the game now, and also Canderous Ordo. Now, I thought it was interesting. This went back to the hint that Crumb put out on Saturday morning, the day after our podcast. So we didn't really talk about that. They put out a teaser on Saturday morning, and took a while for people to come up with the answer for. I think it was about 45 minutes or so, but then figured out that it was a quote from Bastilla Shan about turning someone to the dark side, or to the opposite side,
Ooh.
basically. And everyone had their ideas of who it was going to be. I think the most common ones I saw was Karth. Is that the dude's name? There's a dude in KoTOR named, or KoTOR, called Karth something. If that rings any bells to anyone in chat, please say the name, because I don't know it. That was one, and then the other one was talking about Malik, I think. But what we actually ended up with was Bastilla Shan Fallen. So basically the hint was to say it was Bastilla Shan, and I don't think I saw anyone mention that she was the one that might be coming. And I think that was because in the game she was only turned for a very short time, or you only played that for a very short time, so people are kind of surprised by this. But yeah, Karth Onassi, that's the one people were thinking that that was a hint for. Dude's not in the game yet, but they did get Canderous Ordo. You could probably tell me this. Did Mist last week, was it Karth Onassi or was it Canderous Ordo he was talking about, he thought was coming with the new Dark Side companions, or the new KoTOR companions?
Karth, I believe. I had never heard of Canderous until this update.
Yeah, me either. He actually kind of looks like Cable from Marvel, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he kind of does. Or Duke Nukem.
Duke Nukem was another one. Someone said, oh gosh, what's his name? National Treasure. Who's the guy in that movie?
Talking about Nicolas Cage?
Yes, Nicolas Cage. If you go and look at
Really?
If you're in the Facebook page for SWGOH, go check it out. There's someone put blew up, Canderous Ordo's little picture and the face he's making, and it looks just like a picture of Nicolas Cage from the movie National Treasure. It is pretty funny.
Interesting.
But yeah, so we got Bastilla Shan and
Very
Canderous Ordo. So what comes with that? 2 marquee events. One started on the 15th. The next one started on the 16th. So the Bastilla Shan one is ending in a few hours, and Canderous Ordo is ending tomorrow at the same time. So have you done your Bastilla Shan?
I did, actually. I did not forget.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because the odds are that Dark Side Revan might be coming, so it might be nice to, do these marquees, because if not, then you might as well just wait. And the odds are, and spoiler alert, I'm probably going to be waiting forever at this point without worrying about any panic ever again. But once again, we'll get into that. So yeah, you got 2 marquees here. Then you get into packs and bundles, basically same type of deal. Canderous Ordo and Bastilla bundles. You got the $10 packs to get 4-star, and then you have the $12.99 crystal packs for anywhere between 5 and 330 shards, and I think you get an average of 12 or something like that. So basic same deal as any other marquee. But then there's some other packs in here I thought were interesting, and I'm wondering if you would pay this. 1,699 crystals for a ability materials mega pack. For 1,699 crystals, you get 9 omegas. 9. You can't even upgrade 2 abilities for that. That's a lot of crystals. Is that something that you would pay? I know people will, but would you?
Given that the going rate for Omega, ability refreshes is about 200 crystals per Omega, that is a really good bargain if you buy them anyway. Not a great bargain, but a good bargain. It's cheaper. So, no, I would not buy it because...
I think I will wait for them to come in the natural ways, because that just seems so steep crystal-wise for Omegas.
Yeah, if you need them, I mean, I don't think it's a bad deal based on the prices of stuff in the game in general, but no, I wouldn't buy it. I don't like spending crystals on Omegas. I'd rather wait and get them and just leave everyone un-Omega'd.
Yeah. Well, I used to always have like 100 Omegas lying around. Recently, I dipped down all the way under 10. I'm back up to 60, but I have gotten to the point now where I just don't put Omegas on anyone unless I have to. So I'm slowly climbing my way back up. But when they cost that much, it's nice to have them on hand. So
that's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Another pack in here. There's a mod salvage pack for 2,400 crystals. Gives you a pretty good amount of salvage out of it. Both of those are available November 23rd, and I think that's the day before the 3-year anniversary, or maybe it's the 3-year anniversary. I'm not sure.
Is it?
I think it's the 24th. That's the anniversary, though. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's dang, that's next week. I guess we should also probably mention that next week we will be podcasting on Wednesday because of the holidays. And if it's like last year, I believe they released the 1-year anniversary stuff, update and whatnot before before Thanksgiving break. So hopefully Tuesday or Wednesday there will be an update in which we hopefully get like the Grand Arena or something, but who knows what we'll actually get. And that way we'll actually have something to discuss on the podcast Wednesday. We'll see.
If not, we'll do our best to make something up. We're really good at that. And very big lulls in this game have led us to figure out ways to find things to tell you guys about that are still informative and interesting. So if we have to do that next week, we will. And that would make the next week's episode really full, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be something next week to talk about. Just whether or not it's before Thanksgiving or not, we'll find out. But CG's in America. They celebrate Thanksgiving too, so the odds are it'll be before our podcast. So there's that.
Yep.
But there's some bug fixes. I'll look through these and see if there's any really worth talking about besides the one. And the one that's raising a stink is that Bosk's leader ability got an update of a bug. A bug that has not been fixed until this point, but has really irked a lot of people. So let me find out. Where is this thing? Bosk fixed a bug where Bosk's on the hunt contract could progress while damaging enemies that were not the weakest at the start of the turn. So I'm assuming, I don't really know how this works or why it's upsetting people, but I assume like if you use his call everyone ability, if it brings them down to being the lowest person on the turn, however many people are hitting them is adding to the contract at some point. I think that's what it was. If I'm wrong, if you know in chat, let us know so we can correct that. But basically what it's going to do now is make it harder in territory war defense and a lot of other things for him to fulfill his contract compared to what it was before this bug got fixed. And he's been out for what? A good chunk of time now before this got fixed. So a lot of people are looking at it as a nerf. But yeah, that was definitely the biggest thing to come out of these bug fixes this week. So if you're looking through some other stuff, I'd never had this happen to me, but I know it would annoy me. They fixed a bug where Han Solo shoots first turn, could be consumed by counterattacking before taking his turn. So let's say Han shoots your Han and he shoots back, and then he doesn't get a shoots first turn. That would be obnoxious.
Well, I've seen that before, and it essentially is turn meter removal because he starts with 100% turn meter. So if you use Han on another Han and remove turn meter, I've seen that work. I don't know. I don't think that's what this is referring to, and I'm not sure if that's working as intended. I would think so based on the way they describe everything, but who knows?
Bosk has been out since May the 4th. So it has been a while before this bug ever got looked at. So that's
Good
been
grief.
rubbing people the wrong way here. This one makes me laugh. Unit fixed a bug where Imperial probe droids self-destruct could be counterattacked.
What the hell?
Yeah, like, so before your guy actually dies, if he's not like a tank like General Kenobi that can take self-destruct, he would counterattack and then die. So he wouldn't like die immediately, but counterattack. So they fixed that because that should never have been happening. But
I mean, if a bomb's about to explode, you might as well just start shooting. So I guess it kind of makes sense in a weird way.
what are they counterattacking if you have a tank taunting? Because probe droid explodes. I mean, I guess he does AoE damage, and I have seen some of these videos where probe droid would go to explode. He'd explode on the person, and they would die, and the AoE damage would cause a counterattacker to move sideways across the front line of all 5 of the opponent's 5 people and attack it right where it died. And it
Interesting.
Looks crazy because you're so used to counterattacks coming from across the board to your guys on your side, and these counterattacks would go from that side sideways across their own guys to hit the probe droid before it disappeared. It was weird. So I'm guessing that's also why it got fixed.
I'll have to look up a video of that because I had not seen that.
It's so weird looking watching the opponent go sideways across their own dudes to counterattack.
Huh. Fancy.
This is another one that people were happy about. Fixed a bug where Darth Nihilus would not recover 20% of his max health when he inflicts a debuff at the start of his turn with his wound in the Force with Emperor Palpatine in the leader slot. So, for the longest time, that 20% health recovery was not happening when he inflicted a debuff. So, this is definitely a big boost to Nihilus there, because if you're not getting 20% health is a good chunk, and if you weren't getting that, yeah.
Well, especially with his stacking health, like 20% can be a ton of health.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, yeah. Cool. Was there anything else?
Nope, that was pretty much it for the update this week. So.
All right. I think we should go ahead and tell everyone about our good old friends over at Blue Designs.
Ooh, I like it.
Holidays are coming up, and I know like a lot of gamers listen. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you want to get into streaming, or you just need some awesome headphones for listening, whatever. You should go check out Blue Designs, bluedesigns.com, and use the promo code SOPOD. Get 20% off your order. So you can go get Christmas gifts there, buy yourself a Christmas gift, and get 20% off. Like I said, great products. We obviously love and use their stuff. My satellite headphones are unbelievable. I love them. They're the Bluetooth ones. They fold up nice, so they're portable. But God, they sound so good. I absolutely love them. And
well, they advertised on their website as one of the best Bluetooth headsets for phones, for the like iPhone and Android phones. And I took mine with me on my cruise, and it worked amazing. I loved every second of it because I don't know about you with your iPhone, but you can't really charge and use headphones anymore at the same time. And when you're sitting in an airport, and using your phone for long periods of time, you want to be able to charge it. So I was able to charge it and have really good sound quality that wasn't having to be plugged into the same stinking socket. So I love these headphones, man. They're awesome.
Indeed. So make sure you guys go check that out. Again, it's bluedesigns.com. Use promo code SOPOD. One other thing, I mean, it's... Ooh. I'm dangerous. I almost took out my Slave 1. Oh, I forgot to show you guys this. Check this guy out. Anakin Starfighter. I got this guy a few weeks ago. Found them
Nice,
on
dude.
sale. Yeah.
That's one that I have always seen at Target, and I always like, I'll buy it the next time, and the next time I go, it's gone. And then the next time I go and I don't want to spend the money, it's not there.
That happens. But anyway, that's not the point I was going to make. The point I was going to make was Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/shattered. I believe it's Shattered Order. Holy crap. Maybe I should check and make sure that that's what the link is. Yes, audibletrial.com/shattered order. You can go get a free trial of Audible, 30-day trial. If you don't like it, you can cancel within the first 30 days. You get to keep the free audiobook because they will give you a free audiobook for doing the 30-day trial. And they have so many great books. There is a ton of Star Wars books on there, and they're really well done. They're fantastic. I enjoy the heck out of them. It's almost like listening to a movie. Just the sound effects and just everything, all the production quality that goes into them. Really great stuff. Highly recommend it. So make sure you go check that out. You can also find the link on shatteredorder.com. But again, that's audibletrial.com/shatteredorder. Go get your free audiobook. It'll get you through this nice cold winter, or, get you through your road trip to go see family or whatever. Audiobook's a good way to pass time, so make sure you check that out.
Definitely.
All right. Well, I think it is time to head to the dark side.
We can do that. We have the power.
We do have the power. The Force is with us. Let's see. We'll use this sounder this week.
Hey boys, do you have any tips for us less experienced players?
So I got a very big tip here.
I'm sure you do.
Very big tip.
All right. So that, I believe, was very, very fitting because of Bastilla Shan.
Bastilla. That name needs to catch on. It's beautiful.
I agree. I like it. See, my first thought was emo Bastilla.
One that's been thrown around on our podcast chat. Hot topic Bastilla.
Yeah,
pretty good one.
I think. I think I heard McMull mention that one.
Sparrow, I got you. I know. I remember you saying it too.
Did he? Okay. Man, it's been kind of sad. I have not been on Discord much this week. I've been kind of quiet on there. It's been a long week, so sorry I haven't been on there chatting with you guys much at all. But
I'll hold down the fort, my friend. I will hold down the fort.
Good deal. Good deal. However, I think my favorite and my first thought was emo Bastilla, or just in general, I would say this is some dark side BS, but whatever. All right. You ready to talk about what they did? The fallen Bastilla Shan fallen character?
Fallen Bastilla Shan fallen. It's a fallen sandwich. Yes, let's talk about her.
Just falling all over the place. So, all right. Let's go ahead and dig into her kit. Unit name is Bastilla Shan. In parentheses, fallen. Alignment dark. Category Sith, Old Republic, and support.
Hold on. Before you go on further, you might have been about to say this. I don't know. There is a screenshot, and you can find it, or you can look it up online where it is, of Capgas saying that the reason that HK-47 wasn't given the Old Republic tag is because Old Republic was kind of it wasn't an era, it was a group, and that's why he didn't all the light side where have the Old Republic tag, HK-47 couldn't get it. wouldn't make sense, this and that, and then Bastilla Shan comes out, and she has the Old Republic tag, and totally goes against what Capcast said. I think it was on the forums. So, I don't know what happened, but that must have changed, or he was wrong from the start. But here we are. It led to a lot of funny comments in podcast chat, because a lot of people were like, talking about, putting, I can't even think of any examples now, but like if you were going by era, how many crossovers for characters in different factions you could start doing if that were the case. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like Phoenix.
Makes sense.
The Phoenix, you could throw Thrawn in there because it was during that same time frame, or just weird stuff like that.
The interesting thing I thought with her having the Old Republic tag is she synergizes with Revan.
With Revan?
She gives buffs to Revan with his leader ability, because it doesn't say that they have to be light side Old Republic. They just have to be Old Republic, and she falls under that category.
She'll still give, half the speed that her counterpart would because of the Old Republic, so...
Exactly.
That's interesting.
So
I don't think we'll see anyone using her with Revan, but who knows?
Probably not. But I guess we'll just dig into her kit and find out if we would want to use her with Revan. She is a strong support who inflicts a large number of debuffs, including shock, stun, and corrupted battle meditation. Let's see. Basic ability is Sith Assault. Final text. Deal special damage to target enemy and inflict ability block for 1 turn. This attack deals 10% more damage and has plus 10% critical chance for each Sith ally.
Well, there right there is why you'd probably want her not being with Revan.
That's fair.
That is a lot of extra damage and crit chance.
Yep, it is for sure. So she'll be fitting for Sith team just based on that whole deal. Let's go into her first special, which is Wild Lightning, that has a 2-turn cooldown. So basically every other turn. Deals special damage target enemy and shock them for 3 turns. If target already had shock, deals special damage to all other enemies. This bonus damage can't be countered. This attack cannot be evaded.
So what is this? The third character with shock in their kit now? You have Dooku, you have Palpatine, and now you have Bastilla Shan Fallen.
Yep. That is all that I can think of.
Unsurprisingly, the best leader I've seen I've heard about so far with her in Arena is a Palpatine lead, so not surprised.
Interesting.
Especially with the amount of, as we go through this kit, you'll see it even more, the amount of debuffs that she can do as well, so.
Yeah. I like it. Let's see. All right, let's move on to her second special, which is Fear, that has a 3-turn cooldown. Final text. Stun target enemy for 1 turn with an 80% chance to stun another random enemy, can't be evaded. When each of these stuns expire, inflict offense down, defense down, evasion down, speed down, exposed, and stagger for 2 turns. These effects can't be resisted. Very interesting that they can't be resisted. So if you land a stun that cannot be evaded, so that means it will go through foresight, it can still be resisted, but once it sticks, the following effects cannot be resisted, which is kind of interesting. So if you get stunned, get given tenacity up, you still get all these buffs once that stun goes away.
Yeah, that under a Palpatine lead, that's a lot of extra turn meter. I mean, that's going to bring your whole team up to 100% after Well, I think it's 100%. I don't remember exactly what the turn meter gain for buffs falling off on the Palpatine is.
For debuff.
It's going to bring them all up pretty high once these buffs fall off of 2 people. So, odds are 80% chance to stun 2 people. If they both wind up getting all those buffs, that's going to be a lot of turn meter for your team.
Indeed. All right, so unique 1 is Corrupted Battle Meditation. Final text: at the start of Bastilla's turn, all enemies lose 3% turn meter, doubled against non-Jedi and non-Sith, and are inflicted with Corrupted Battle Meditation for 1 turn. Then she recovers 1% protection for each debuff on enemies. Corrupted Battle Meditation. Minus 30% crit chance and 30% counter chance. This is doubled against non-Jedi and non-Sith. One thing that I find interesting, it's not doubled against Jedi. It's doubled against non-Jedi.
Anything else.
And non-Sith. So basically, anyone that's not a Force user, it is doubled against.
Thrawn. That's a big one you're going to see. I don't even know. Chewbacca is another one you'll probably see.
Han Solo, CLS lead.
Yeah, the CLS lead rebel team, this is going to hurt a lot.
Big time.
Sure.
Yep.
So.
Indeed. Anything else you want to say about CBM?
Nope. Just not surprising to see that opposite, the opposites of her light side version. So
I do like that they did that. They really did go with the exact opposite, which I thought was super cool. I mean, it's very similar to what they did with like Anakin's ship and Vader's ship. You know, the way they take these characters that's, you know, in universe the same human basically, in just different eras, and then they, you know, have their abilities, personalities kind of carry over. Very cool.
Yeah, but and just another point to the Palpatine lead here. If you're throwing out this buff, that's a 1-turn buff to everyone every time she takes a turn, and it's only 1 turn, so that's a lot of turn meter, and from a for sure debuff.
Yeah.
So.
That's true. All right, so final text of Unique 2 Sith Apprentice. This is with the Zeta. Bastilla and the character in the leader slot have plus 50% defense and tenacity, and they gain foresight for 1 turn at the start of battle. If Bastilla's leader is Sith, whenever an enemy is inflicted with death mark, or shock, they both gain 5% offense, stacking up to 100% for the rest of the battle. This ability does not apply to characters in the ally slot. Gee, I wonder who this could possibly be targeting.
Think about this too. Marked is Revan's ability that goes...
It is.
Basically the Force Taunt. And the ability says only if the leader is Sith. Now, you can have Jedi Knight Revan in a team of Sith, and then Mark is present for this to go off. But why would you do that? You know? So it really makes me think Darth Revan from that alone. Working in with a Mark on a Darth Revan. If you went the same way as Battle Meditation with the, you know, light side and the dark side version. If you're going to get a dark side version of Revan, he's probably going to have Mark as well. And this is going to synergize with that perfectly. So if you weren't already thinking it, the odds are that Darth Revan is probably coming and is going to take these characters. So I think this is a good hint that this is meant to synergize with a Darth Revan. Unless they're planning to give Marked to someone else. And it also makes me wonder, whatever other dark side KoTOR characters are coming, which one of them is getting Deathmark? Because the 2 we got don't have Deathmark. The only other person that has Deathmark is what's his face?
Death Trooper.
Death Trooper, and he's not a Sith. So where does this synergize? Someone has to be coming with Deathmark, right? So a lot of
Very
hinting
interesting. I like
in this
it.
ability, I think.
So, I mean, Deathmark and Marked are amazing abilities. They have, I mean, there's so much you can do with them. They're great. And the fact that it directly mentions it. But I will say one thing. It says, if Bastilla's leader is Sith, you know, so you could have Revan on, say, a Traya-led team with Bastilla, and, you know, they would still be gaining the stacking offense, you know, whenever that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that would be an interesting way to, I don't know why you would use Revan under Traya lead or something along those lines, but that would be an option to get, you know, to get the stacking offense. And it says stacking up to 100%. Well, I guess shock. You can have a lot of inflicts of shock, but it kind of makes me wonder how a Traya lead with Dooku and Bastilla would do, because or Emperor Palpatine, where you have all this shock landing. I mean, you're getting all that even more stacking offense that Traya is going to be getting anyway. I mean, she, you know, Darth Traya can do some nasty damage with that stacking offense. And when you talk about stacking it even more, obviously an offense set on her is really hard to beat, because now you're getting that stacking amount even more and more and more, which makes her that much more dangerous. So that is really interesting. However,
and while you might sacrifice
something...
speed with Bastilla taking turn meter away from all opponents when at the start of her turn, that in turn basically makes your team a little bit faster. So that will help as well.
Yeah, that's a good. Yep, that's a good point. Let's see. There was something that I think you had an opinion on.
Oh. I don't know. May not be popular opinion, and I'm
gonna sit back and relax.
Oh, please do. I'm going to start with a statement. I'm never panic farming anything ever again. And maybe that's a little strong of a statement after 2 days, but basically from the moment this marquee happened for this character, a very easy to gear to at least gear 8 character, you could throw in a 3-star Bastilla at gear 8 into a Palpatine, or in some cases Traya-led teams, and not auto. I've heard people are autoing, but at least manually roll through Revan teams with just the ginormous speed. Like the best Revans on your shard, people are saying that they've never beaten before. They roll through them with a gear 8 3-star Bastilla. Now, how long has Revan been out?
Couple weeks.
Not very long. Not very long.
Month, probably.
So for everyone that, and here's the funny thing. There's 2 sides to this, and this is what's gone on in chat and made me just not talk in chat about this, because everyone that didn't get Revan loves this. Everyone that got Revan that I've talked to hates it. You got 2 weeks of good defense out of Revan, and now a 3-star character that you can put in at gear 8 can make the best Revans beatable by the Sith teams you've been running forever. Basically destroying the defense of a Revan team. And in my opinion, what I liked about him was the fact that he held rank much better than my Traya ever did on my server. So going back to my main point, there's no reason to panic farm anything if 2 weeks after they come out, at least arena-wise, if 2 weeks after they come out, a 3-star character that you can basically throw extra gear that you have hundreds of to get to gear 8, you can then throw them in arena and beat the best arena teams on your shard. So I'm annoyed by this. I feel like I should not have spent the money on this character beyond the fact that they're really good in the raid and just a really good character in general. I'm not saying that I regret buying or having the character, but as far as arena goes, which was one of the main things people were looking for this character for, it kind of trivializes it. It also made me question whether I wanted to gear 12 and Zeta Jolie Bindo today, because it didn't really matter, you know? People could gear up a 3-star that they got to gear 8 and roll through my team. So, I don't know.
So, why don't you tell me the reason she makes beating Revan so easy?
Basically, what she does is make it so Traya does not get... Traya or other characters that are marked don't die immediately on the first turn. And
why is that?
And why is that? Defense, tenacity, everything from her unique.
Well, tenacity doesn't really prevent her from dying. Defense, however, could.
If you want me to go into the intricacies of the kit, I don't know them. But I can tell you this, I have seen the videos of people killing this character on auto with a gear 8 3-star and saying that they were never able to before. Okay. And that has been confirmed by 3, 4, 5 different servers. I mean, this is not a thing I made up. I don't know the intricate details of it. So if you're trying to discredit what I'm saying, that's not going to happen, because this is a real thing.
I'm not trying to discredit your point. What I'm trying to do is make a point that the reason that she works is because she gives defense. That is the only reason. That is the thing that makes her more effective. Traya Lead offers crit avoidance 40%, and then you have this that is the plus 50% defense. That makes it very difficult to kill Traya. So, what do? One, you could do what I have been suggesting literally for a month, and make sure that your Grandmaster Yoda is modded properly, and by properly I mean having 3 offense primaries and a crit damage primary with an offense set. You do not need speed on Grandmaster Yoda. You should not have a speed arrow on him, in my opinion. He should be modded for offense so he does as much damage as possible. That, for one, will make it much easier to kill Traya, and far more likely that you kill her in that opening turn. The other thing that you could also do is also mod any attacker on that team with more offense, because the more offense that you're doing, crit damage is going to be less beneficial because of the Traya's leader ability. It basically eliminates the crit chance that Revan Lead is going to have. Those two abilities are basically a wash whenever you talk about crit chance. So when you're talking about characters with low crit chance anyway, go with an offense set, because it's not going to be that useful whenever you're battling against Traya. So whatever team you're using, like me, I'm using Revan, Hermit Yoda, Grandmaster Yoda, Jolie Bendo, and General Kenobi. Modding everybody to do more offense will help eliminate this issue. I would love to know all those videos that people are showing. How are those teams modded? Because, like I said, most people are not modding Jedi the way that you optimally should be modding Jedi. And that is obviously going to make it so much easier for her to survive, especially when she's getting that 50% defense. I would be really surprised if this helps that much against a team that is modded adequately. I think it'll help. I definitely think it'll help, but I don't think it is what everything is talking it up to be. I think it's overblown.
Well, we'll see. 2 days so far, and I haven't heard anything change, so we'll see in a week. But as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't make sense to me. But one of 2 characters I've ever really spent a good chunk of change on, and you really expect something more than 2 weeks. But, all right, cool. Now I know for Darth side Revan that I can wait. I'll be totally fine with that.
But I mean, this also just makes her, because I mean, Traya really just, I mean, she almost can't beat Revan even on offense, and this makes it to where she can beat Revan on offense. I mean, it's not like
apparently
Revan
there
has
was a team with First Order officer and Traya that can beat Revan. If you ask Poe about it, he will love to talk about it, but it is possible with certain characters. But that is a very well geared and modded First Order officer, not a Gear 8 3-star character. So yeah. I can deal with that. This I cannot. Doesn't make any sense to me. So
yeah, but interesting. Well, I will be very curious to monitor this over the next week and see how it does. Like I said, I am incredibly skeptical that a properly modded Revan team would have much issue against this team. I mean, obviously, I do think that this will help, especially if you mod Traya correctly. I mean, like I said, it helps, but I don't think it is a massive difference maker. I mean, there's just too much going on with the Revan teams. And, you know, if you're having issues, if you're one of those people with Revan and you're having issues against these teams, what I would do is I would mod... What?
That's the other side to it. Obviously, if you have a 3-star Gear 8 person in there, they're going to get destroyed on defense. But we all know people use different teams to climb as they leave in, set in on defense overnight. So the fact she's not good on defense is not a factor to me, because anyone that plays Arena isn't going to leave her in overnight. So, yeah. They'll probably put someone else in her place so that they...
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I wouldn't leave her in.
Why?
Target immediately. Are you kidding?
So?
No thanks.
If your team can win, what's it matter?
Offense and defense are 2 different things. The AI does different things than her.
No, that's true.
On the same Traya team you've been playing for a year or however long, since February.
Yeah, but there's now a better character. I don't know. I just
for offense. I mean, no one said the defense is not there with this character. All the videos that have come out this week have shown some very terrible defense.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I've been busy this week. I haven't watched hardly any videos with her, so I'm kind of learning a lot of this from you right now. But my initial thoughts are that I am quite skeptical about the teams that they're facing. I mean, I kind of think that what she offers, if it were me, I would be modding Bastilla for, survivability. I would load her up. I mean, completely load her up with a lot of defense because of that plus 50% defense, and try to make her and Traya very difficult to kill. Load them up with protection. Load them up with I saw somebody say that the plus 50% tenacity will prevent the what do you call it? The stacking negative health. Do you know if that is accurate? Or what the mechanic is there that would do that?
For Revan? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, that's part of the marked ability, I believe.
Yeah, but does tenacity prevents that from happening? I think I saw somebody say that.
That I do not know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. If that's the case, that's kind of interesting, and would obviously change the way you would want to use tenacity on those teams. However, the stacking negative health is a big problem, and you kind of need to mod Treya for maximum protection. And if you load her up with protection and defense, forget offense, quit making her an attacker, because that's always been my strategy with her, but I think Revan kind of changes the way you need to use her. Mod her for absolute survivability. Mod whore. That mod whore. Yeah.
That's you. Mod whore.
Yeah. That's guilty. Yeah, that's what I would do and see how it goes. That'll obviously make it more difficult for Revan teams to take her out, but she's less of a problem. But you kind of gain a little bit of that back with the stacking offense. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm let's just say I'm skeptical.
Yep, I gotcha. This is my initial reaction, and it's not good. I thought that they said something about trying to make sure 3-star characters were not so overpowered in the arena, but obviously she's not overpowered. It's just a unique that's helping other people, but yeah.
And it's a unique ability, which means when she dies, the benefits of it disappear.
Yeah.
And hey, that's something else. Shout out to Elon for mentioning this. You know what you could do if you're running Revan? And you have a problem with a character like this? I don't know, you could throw in a character that does a great AoE. What Jedi has a great AoE? Grandmaster Yoda? Oh, that's right. Jedi Knight Anakin. Not a terrible idea.
I think I've seen some pictures of this recently.
I think I might test it this weekend. Sounds really fun. Jedi Knight Anakin is just... He is a ridiculously awesome attacker, so... I mean, why not? He does awesome damage, has a great AoE, he gains turn meter when people drop below 50% health, gains the bonus damage... Really great with Revan, because first time you kill somebody, he'll obviously gain the turn meter.
Great debuffs really on his basic, what is it, healing immunity and
buff immunity, yes. Yeah. I totally forgot about that. That is obviously incredibly effective against some of these annoying Sith. So throw in Jedi Knight Anakin if, you're one of those people suffering from this this Bastilla issue, throw him in, and pretty much your whole team should go before she ever gets a chance to do anything. And when you have a good attacker like Jedi Knight Anakin that has such a good AoE, you can get 2 AoEs off before the other team takes a turn. You might be able to kill her off, and then it's not the defense is gone, and Trey is easy to kill again, and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah. McTweet mentioned that he did see that the negative stacking health can be resisted, so that is part of the benefit of the tenacity. I don't know how much of a benefit the not losing. I mean, it's obviously useful, but I'm not sure I've ever like killed Treyas specifically because of that. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Anyway,
We still got a whole nother character to go over, and this one I'm
holy
much
crap.
more excited about.
Less upset about.
Yes, this guy looks really cool, and there's
Why
one
don't you go
reason
ahead
for
and tell
that.
us who it
You might understand why, but Canderous Ordo is the new guy. So Canderous Ordo. I got the picture up from the announcement on the forums, looking like Cable from Marvel. Pretty sweet. But
Indeed.
he's a dark side attacker, also Old Republic, and he is also a scoundrel. So get some of those scoundrel buffs. Makes him interesting. I saw some people doing marquees with Akira lead. I thought that was pretty cool. But let's see here. Here he is. Powerful attacker who can make short work of enemy tanks. Now, the marquee didn't really show this off very well to me. I didn't think his damage was there to make short work of a tank, but he can definitely do extra damage against a tank. So there's that. But yeah, he's definitely got an interesting set of abilities here. And he's more of a character that's got a short kit that's kind of concise, kind of like a Fox. Oh, funny story. Fox. Going off the rails here a little bit. I was looking through my roster on the game while my 4-year-old son, was staring over my shoulder looking at things. And he saw a First Order Stormtrooper, and he's obsessed with Stormtroopers. He's like, hey, look, a Stormtrooper. And I keep scrolling down, and he saw Fox, and he said, is that a panda? And I was like, yes, that is the guy that we call Panda. That is correct. So to a 4-year-old,
awesome.
He sees the panda reference there. So I thought that was pretty funny.
That's pretty amazing, actually.
Good old T. All right, so your basic on this dude. It is called Interminable Assault. Deal physical damage and attack again. If the enemy had protection before this attack, Canderous attacks for a third time and inflicts tenacity down. Just another character with tenacity down. Remember when tenacity down, the only way you could get it on the opponent was to throw out Dengar's bombs?
Oh yeah, that's right. That was a long time ago. That was that was one of the first Rancor solo teams.
Yes, because you finally got that tenacity down out there with Dengar, and then that turn meter could just roll back when Rancor was the only raid. But now you got a good chunk of characters that can put tenacity down from their basic, so very good ability there, on top of having 3 attacks if they have protection, so that's pretty sweet. Also, you get something else from his unique, which is part of what makes him awesome to me, but his next ability is a special called Overwhelming Firepower. Deal physical damage to all enemies and inflict offense down for 2 turns. This attack ignores defense. So not only is he putting offense down out there, which I love as a debuff, and AoE offense down, mind you, he also does physical damage and ignores defense. So the damage numbers look about middle of the road, if I'm having to guess here. It's only 5,000 to 5685, so I don't think it's like the highest of AoE abilities as far as damage goes, but it ignores defense, so it's going to do a good chunk there. The next ability is called... Hold on one second. Let me fix the live stream. And I didn't fix it.
Unbelievable.
Actually, I did, but it's not... Okay, there we go. Unique number 1, Mandalorian Veteran. At the start of battle, Canderous gains 10% health steal and potency, for each Old Republic and Scoundrel ally. So works well in a Scoundrel team, works well in an Old Republic team. Whenever Canderous deals damage to an enemy, he inflicts a damage over time effect for 2 turns. That last bit is what I love about this dude. And can you guess why?
Because of Wampa and Vader?
That's exactly right. I always
How did I guess?
I just found a 4th person for my Vader Gamguard Wampa team here.
Ooh.
Because this dude on his basic can do 3 freaking dots. Now, the funniest part to this dude right now is he has a bug. And in tier 1 of a battle, he'll do 3 dots if he attacks 3 times. In tier 2 of a battle, if he attacks on his basic, he'll do 2 dots per hit, so 6 dots. And in tier 3 of a battle, if he hits his basic, he will do 9 dots.
Really?
Yes, it is a bug that is in the game right now. So they're
Holy crap.
They've already said that they're patching this early next week. But I really wish that there was a dark side territory battle going on that you could just throw this dude in, because the amount of dots going out with this guy right now, if you got to phase, to the 4th phase of a combat mission with this guy, he'll be doing what? 4 times 3, 12 dots per basic.
That's insane. Yeah. Basic attack and 36 dots are on there. Yeah, that would be awesome.
I kind of wish that was a thing that actually existed. It's pretty crazy. But he does a lot of dots. He would work well with Wampa to me. Right now, the way with the bug, especially with Wampa, throw that many dots out there, let Wampa get all that extra offense from those dots, and good times.
That would be awesome. And could you imagine he would be really good for the Heroic AAT team, I would think, just because, I mean, like, that's going to drastically help. I guess not because of the phase thing, but I mean, if you just throw a ton of speed on him, make him go as often as possible, basic ability, and start stacking dots on there, I mean, that's just going to let Vader and Wampa start going bonkers even sooner.
If you could find a way to give this guy retribution, like let's say Kenobi or something, that would be even more fun.
Yeah, for sure.
He's got one more unique, so 4 abilities, 2 uniques. I like a challenge is his last unique. Canderous deals 50% more damage with inturnable assault and overwhelming firepower to enemies who are taunting, death marked, or marked. So here we go again with that. Whenever an enemy with a damage over time effect is damaged by an attack, Canderous gains 8% turn meter. So in your Vader teams or working with Wampa, this dude has a good chance when anyone attacks someone with a dot, this dude's gaining 8% turn meter.
Does this mean that he gains 24% turn meter on his basic ability?
That I don't know. That is an interesting... because it says whenever an enemy is damaged. It doesn't say when an ally damages an enemy. So that is probably something that could happen, for sure.
I would assume so. That's kind of interesting.
So this dude's going to be going a lot. You can throw the offense mods on this guy, because you're probably not going to need a lot of speed on him in a team that's doing a lot of dots. So that's a pretty good thing there. And when an enemy gains taunt or becomes death marked or marked, so basically those forced taunts, Canderous gains crit chance up and crit damage up for 2 turns. So that's where I think that's the part where that, along with the beginning of this ability where he gets 50% more damage to taunting enemies. So 50% damage plus crit damage and crit chance up when he's attacking someone with taunt. So that's where the powerful tank attacker comes into play. his powerful tank attacking is probably about even with regular, really good attackers' regular attacks. So I don't know that it's that specialized. It is specialized, but I don't know that the damage is that much to scream about. But it's definitely an interesting mechanic for this dude. Something that's not in there. A guy that specializes in taking out tanks. So,
okay, I thought of something. How about this? You have, say, like a Vader lead with Wampa, Han Solo, Chewbacca, and this dude. Because whenever Han Solo basic attacks, that would be 3 hits, which would give him 24% turn meter. Him attacking, if he's the weakest ally, he would triple tap on basic, call in Chewie also, he would gain 32% turn meter. Like, if you had some double attacks plus Chewbacca on there, that would be a lot of turn meter he would be gaining, and probably a lot of basic attacks he would be putting down, and just stacking damage over times through the roof.
I like that. That sounds like a lot of fun, actually. I'm gonna have to play with this dude. The problem is this, compared to Bastilla, Canderous's gear is out of control. He needs a lot at the lower gear levels.
Oh,
so
does he?
I would love to gear this guy up the same way as Bastilla, but he does not. Your dollar doesn't go as far with him. So eventually when I farm him, I will do that. But I don't know that I'm going to throw, stun guns and Carbontes at this guy to get him to gear 8. So pretty. I really like this guy's kit. I really do. I think it's really cool. I think it'll really work well with a Darth Vader lead with Wampa, which is what I love for dark side territory battles. I just find that fun. It might not be the best team. It might not be something I use more than 2 phases, but I enjoy the little things, and that's one of them. So I really look forward to using this dude. But I like his kit. I don't know how specialized he is. We said the same thing about Jolie, right? Jolie, we didn't know where he fit until Dark Side Jedi Knight Revan came out. Now he's a great arena character. So I'm kind of curious if I keep saying if Dark Side Revan's coming. I'm pretty sure that is what they are moving towards, because by the time, another thing that was pointed out on podcast chat, by the time that these guys become farmable with the timing that they're being released right now, they'll all be farmable in February. And historically, February has been Sith month. So Dark Side Revan in Sith month, probably a possibility.
And that would also be a, possible time that Revan could be returning based on historically the way that Journey characters have returned. I think it was like 90 days and 120 days or something along those lines. That would kind of fall somewhere around that range. So it could be one of those things where, like, maybe these characters plus Revan or something is required, and you have a fallen journey of some sort. Although I'd be disappointed if they gave us, like, some sort of falling journey like that, and it's Revan and not Anakin. But
yeah, I completely agree, and I think we're going to be disappointed that that's not the case. But I think that might be a timing thing as far as the 15-year anniversary for KoTOR and everything. So I don't know. We'll see. But I do think that we might not know the full extent of how good this dude can be until we find out if a Malik or a Revan is coming to the game and this dude fits with them. So we shall see. Overall, I don't see him being an amazing character everyone's going after right now, but I do think that he will probably find his place, much like a lot of the characters that have been released recently have. And the thing about the other thing I wanted to say, for those of you that are worried about panic farming, what I did not do with Jedi Knight Revan is $10 packs. So I don't know if I'm going to buy them just because of the Bastilla issue that I have with panic farming at the moment. I don't know if I'm going to do it. But if you are worried that Darkside Revan is going to come in February, those $10 packs that are available right now for these marquee characters will cut down quite a bit of farming later.
Bargain.
For $10. So it is a good deal if you think that Darkside Revan is coming to get those now, as opposed to trying to get those 30 shards later. So just throwing that out there.
So are you going to be buying the those packs?
I am undecided.
You're not, are you?
Well, see, here's the thing I said in
probably
podcast
won't.
chat.
I generally don't buy them. I think what I'm going to do is store crystals and just kind of see what else comes. And if it gets to a point where I feel pretty confident that's what's going to happen, I'm just going to make damn sure I'm doing my refreshes next time, unlike I did for Revan.
Here's what I said in podcast chat. I said, I am never panic farming a character again. And then like 3-4 minutes later, I said, somebody screenshot that so they can laugh at me when I do it again. So
nice. Right
now I'm saying that. But now if I don't buy those $10 packs and I decide to later on, I might kick myself. So I can deal with $10 right now. I don't know. I still don't know where I'm at with any of this. So, yeah.
Like I said, I truly believe that the what's the phrase I'm looking for? That the Bastilla stuff is being a bit blown out of proportion.
I live for blown out of proportion. That's my headspace.
Speaking of, you know what's been blown out of proportion?
Aaron Rodgers' status as the best quarterback in the NFL.
Don't get me started, bro. Don't get me started. I will say this, though. I'm in a dynasty league, and I think this is our 6th year in it. 5th, 6th year. I just gave up. My team is not very good. I really don't even want to talk about it, but you forced me into it. Aaron Rodgers is my quarterback, and I've had a rough year with running backs. I've had a rough year, but my record is 3-7. However, I'm still in range to win my division. My whole division's having a rough year, so I could still make playoffs. So I just traded my first-round rookie pick to get Aaron Jones. And I'll be honest, after Thursday, I'm feeling pretty good about that because it's really sad that the best player on the Packers offense, named Aaron, does not have the last name Rodgers. I don't know. God, you had to bring it up. Good God.
You know, man. I like to poke the bear, you know. So
Like how? Why are you not throwing to guys who are wide open? And Devontae Adams is good, but he's a little overrated.
All right. Well, now that we're through that.
New topic. All right. So, I think it's time for some trivia. What do you think? That sounds a little bit more exciting than talking about other crap that you keep bringing up. What do you think?
Yes, let's do that. I like that idea.
It's time for the sexy bearded duo to battle in their SWGOH knowledge in the most exciting trivia event in the Outer Rim. It's time for the Shattered Order trivia. May the Force be with you.
All right. So,
oh yeah.
To add fuel to the fire, trivia is about Bastilla, with a few name that tunes inside of that. So luckily for us, we just went over her whole kit, so we should be experts now, right?
Should, keyword. Man, the trivia last week, I totally loved with the name, the character, with the hints progressively coming across. Spot on. Tesh is obviously nailing it, and if you have any trivia suggestions for Tesh, make sure you go to theshatteredorder.com. Go click that submit trivia question link at the bottom of the page, and you will of course get it. However, it's time to get your Kahoot app out, and Dan, it's time for you to give everyone the pin.
All right, so this might be confusing at first. I was confused at first. The pin this week is not 7 digits, it's only 6. And that is going to work. I made sure of it. Actually, Tess made sure of it after I asked him, and it is working. So your trivia pin is 080809. Hard to remember. I know. 080809.
I really thought it was going to be 080808, but it wasn't.
That would have been quite impressive.
I thought it was going to be.
It would have been. We didn't quite get there, but that's okay. We were one off. So, where's this app? All right, there we go. All right. One more time while I fill it into my own phones. 080809.
Indeed. You know, man, I tell you what. Okay, this is a community request from me. I need somebody to find out a way for me to do my video and share a screen over Skype. Because I think it would be really cool if there was a way that we could have, like, both of our, during trivia, you know, have our regular video plus have both of our phones up there so people can actually watch and see us pick our answers as we go. But I don't know a way to do that over Skype currently. I know we've tried to figure this out, but have not been able to. But maybe somebody out there knows something that I don't.
I have an idea, but I don't know. Never mind. Never mind. Okay, anyways. All right. First question. If you have ideas on that, get back to us. I run the OBS, and I would love to make that work. So, are you ready for... What are we slapping our faces for?
Are you recording my audio?
I am recording your audio.
Good.
Did we have a lapse here?
Yeah, we've got something going on.
All right, well, we got a way to work it all out. It'll be fine.
Good. Good deal.
All right. Are you ready for the first question? Now that you're frustrated, I might have a better chance. Is that a yes? You are ready? Yeah. Okay, here we go. First question. First question is, here we go. Both versions of Bastilla gain what on her basic? And go. Answers are potency, damage, crit chance, and power.
And what is your answer?
The wrong one. I said potency for some reason.
I said crit chance, and my answer is also wrong because the correct answer is damage.
Whoopsie.
Uh-oh.
At least we both got it wrong. We're going to make our...
That's true.
See, for all those of you listening, we like to get them wrong to give the community a chance to throw it in our face how much better they did than us. So,
exactly. Yeah. It's always fun.
All right. Well, anyways, moving on from that. Fallen Bastilla's stun can be resisted. True or false? And go.
The possible choices are true and false. In case you didn't know, 50% chance to get it right. What did you choose?
The wrong one. I assumed it could be
chose
evaded,
the
but
right
couldn't.
one.
I assumed it could be evaded, but not resisted, and that is wrong. So.
Ooh. Not good.
You know, want to know the most hypocritical thing about not liking Bastilla? Is if you took Revan out of the whole equation, is that on my alt account, I used a 3-star Bastilla lead for my Jedi for probably the entire time until she became farmable.
Huh.
3 stars in the arena. Granted, I wasn't taking number 1 on my alt, but top 50.
Interesting.
All right, anyways, next question. Question 3. Fallen Bastilla joins a group of counter-free AoEs. Which tune's AoE effect can be countered? And go.
The possible options are Bastilla, Vader, Daka, and Sabine.
I am so confused by this. Daka has an AoE? The answer was Daka. Daka does not have an AoE.
Her basic ability can damage multiple characters.
Traditionally, I don't think that anyone has called that an AoE.
I believe.
It does, because it can stun 2 people. But as far as
have an area of effect.
Okay. If I were to tell you before this question AoE, would you have called Daka's basic an AoE? I immediately took her out of the equation for this question because I'm like,
I did too.
Well, she has a heal and she has a basic, and neither of those are AoEs.
I mean, would you consider Jerry to have an AoE? Because it's kind of the same thing.
I never would have. No. To me, an AoE is something that hits everyone.
Okay,
But-
that's fair.
But to be fair, I understand that it is an AoE. I just traditionally, in the game, AoE to me has always meant I had just hit everyone. So
yeah.
All right. Well,
That's generally what I think of too, but it is technically area of effect, which generally just means more than one character.
oh, by the way, people have just pointing out in chat that Jerry does has an AoE. His special hits everyone.
Oh, okay. Well, bad example. My bad. All right.
So I haven't got a question right yet. So there's that.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm sure. Did you pick Daka?
No.
Did you get that one right? Okay. Both
No, I
Bastillas either grant allies turn meter or take enemies turn meter on their turn. They both also blank and go.
Possible options are stack damage, grant buffs, inflict debuffs, and recover protection.
Well, I'm 0 for 4.
I am 1 for 4. Because the correct answer was recover protection. It was not inflict debuffs, which I selected.
See, Bastilla grants buffs. Badstilla grants debuffs. So I knew it wasn't either of those two. So it was either stack damage or recover protection. I picked stack damage. It was recover protection.
Whew.
Beautiful.
Glad you were wrong.
Lost
the coin flip.
All right.
Question 5.
Question 5. Here we go. Canderous has 0% potency, but gains 10% for each. And go.
The options are Mandalorian ally, Old Republic and Scoundrel ally, dark side ally, or Old Republic and Sith ally? What did you select?
Old Republic and Scoundrel ally.
We both got this one correct.
I kind of figured that was easy enough that you would get it and I would still be behind. So, beautiful.
Yes.
All right, next question. Question 6. Which status effect grants Bastilla additional benefits but not Canderous? And go.
Possible options are shock, taunt, marked, and death mark. What did you select?
Shock.
You selected the correct answer, just as I did. Well done.
I knew it. I knew you were gonna get that one too. I'm just glad I got some right now.
That's true. That is true.
All right. So now we move into the ones. Well, I think we do. Let me check. I think this is the name a tune part now.
Interesting.
Yep, it is name that tune. So let me put this over here. All right. So this is the one where I'll just move to my main one I'm playing with and we'll go from there. So
Okay.
let's do it. Starting now, name that tune. First hint is has specific synergy with another tune. Gains taunt and retribution.
And the options are Baze Malbus, Chewbacca, Zalbar, and Biggs Darklighter.
What'd you get?
Wrong.
Oh! Did you pick Chewbacca? Or Baze?
No, I selected Baze.
Ah, I almost clicked on Baze, and then I just decided to wait for the third hint. And when it said a Wookiee, I'm like, Chewbacca doesn't get retribution, so it must be Zalbar.
Had I waited, I would have got it right, but I didn't wait for that last hint.
Okay, next question. Name that tune. First hint, a recently added cantina farm.
Okay.
Second hint,
Possible
grants
options.
allies stealth while leader.
While leader. Options are Mission Vow, Dangar, T3, and Aura Singh.
Third hint was deals extra... Oh, it disappeared before I could tell you.
Deals extra damage to toppled enemies.
I selected Aura Singh after the second hint.
I selected Aura Singh after the third hint.
Very nice, very nice.
Very quickly after the third hint, though.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we got one more question.
All
Name
right.
that tune. First hint. Has a dark side counterpart.
Ooh.
Has a leader ability. Answers are Darth Vader, Bastilla Shan, Jedi Knight Anakin, and Poe Dameron.
The third hint is flies the ETA 2.0 Starfighter.
I got this one after the second hint. How about you?
Got this one after the third hint.
Yep.
I was trying to play it safe.
You know what's funny is I only picked Jedi Knight Anakin because I thought that the answer was Bastilla, not regular Bastilla Shan. So I really could have screwed myself there picking Jedi Knight Anakin instead of Bastilla. Thankfully, I got the answer correct. So.
All right.
That was an answer streak of 5, by the way. So I got 1,200 points for that. So I am feeling pretty good about my chances here.
All right. How many points did you end up with?
5274.
45 of us today.
What'd you get?
No!
Was that wine everywhere?
No, it's empty.
Okay. I heard the glass topple. All right, back in my winning ways.
Crap.
I'm good with this.
Not good. Not good.
After I missed the first 4 questions, I really came back.
That's true, you did. Yeah, you made a bit of a comeback.
Those that streak bonus points really helped me out there.
That is definitely true.
Doesn't hurt that you missed one in the middle of that streak, so that helped.
Stupid one I shouldn't have missed. Yeah, that cost me. That definitely cost me.
All right, back on the winning ways. I am happy with this. So, all righty. Well, it has been an interesting week for sure. Man, I know that I want to say this. I know that you have had a rough week, or at least a rough day today. I hope that hanging out here with all of us has made it a little better.
Yes. I am ready for sleep and the weekend. I am going, tomorrow night I'm going to get debuffed. We are going out for the sultry female's birthday, and we are going to Uber and get debuffed because it is needed.
Tomorrow I'm going out as well. My 11-year anniversary. 11 years. Pretty crazy. But
sounds exciting.
Well, to everyone else that's out there still on the live stream, and for everyone that has made it through the audio podcast with us hanging out, hopefully you did well at trivia. Thanks for hanging out with us. We really love all of you and everything that you do for this community and just being awesome people. I love the community around this game. That's why we do this. So from us to you, thank you, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Later.